Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was welcomed to Cuba last night with a military honors ceremony. Attacks overnight leave many dead after airstrikes hit buildings in Aleppo, including a children's hospital.
We are deeply grateful for our alliance with the Greek people.
President Barack Obama visits Greece in his first stop during his final trip overseas as president. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Brittany Billette, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Cuba today, the first official visit of a Canadian leader in 20 years. Trudeau touched down in Havana with his wife Sophie yesterday evening for the historic visit. He was welcomed with a military honors ceremony. Trudeau met with Cuban President Raul Castro to discuss trade opportunities. A visit with Fidel Castro isn't on the agenda, but it may happen. Trudeau's father, Pierre, met with the former president when he visited Cuba 40 years ago. Tonight, Trudeau leaves for Argentina and then continues on to Peru for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Rescue efforts are underway in Aleppo following heavy airstrikes that hit the Syrian city over the past 24 hours. Government forces are pounding rebel-held areas of the city. Nearly 300,000 civilians were caught up in the attacks, which struck a children's hospital among other medical centers. Initial reports of the airstrikes linked Russia to the attacks, but that country's defense ministry denies any involvement. Reports say 27 people, including children, have been found dead following the airstrikes. 250 civilians have been killed in the battle for Aleppo since April. To Iraq now, where government forces are pushing further into eastern Mosul. Iraqi special forces are intensifying efforts to reclaim the city that's a stronghold for the militant group ISIS. Smoke can be seen engulfing residential areas as airstrikes target ISIS hideouts. The Iraqi counterterrorism forces are facing heavy resistance as ISIS has increased the number of suicide bombers and sniper attacks. The operation is in its fourth week, and more than 1 million civilians are still under ISIS control. Overseas, U.S. President Barack Obama is in the midst of his final trip to Europe as Commander-in-Chief. He's heading to Germany today to meet with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Yesterday, the president met with Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras. The two discussed how the U.S. could work with foreign creditors to restructure Greece's national debt and how to handle the migrant crisis. Meanwhile, protesters clashed with riot police in Athens. 7,000 people marched to Greek parliament and the U.S. embassy. Many are calling on to the U.S. to take a larger role in handling the migrant crisis that's overwhelmed Europe. Police in Atlanta, Georgia are investigating a collision between a freight train and a tractor trailer. Police say the train hit a tractor trailer at high speeds last night. The truck was relocating a family's possessions from Georgia to Florida when the accident happened. Local police have since reopened the railroad crossing and are currently investigating the cause of the incident. Local media has reported that no immediate injuries were caused by the collision. Here at home, an investigation is underway into an elevator accident that left one man dead in the King Young area. The incident took place inside the building at 1 King West. Police reached the scene around 7 p.m. The unidentified 35-year-old victim was pronounced dead after he was found in a freight elevator. Toronto police say it's been categorized as an industrial accident. The Ministry of Labour has been called in for the investigation. A new study suggests that more people are starting to give serious thought to the way they do their grocery shopping. Our reporter, Caitlin Patrick, took to the halls of Humber to see how students relate.
Budgeting is something that every person living on their own experiences. The study done by Dalhousie University suggests that about 53% of people across the country agreed rising food prices affected their shopping within the last 12 months. It also found that 95% of Canadians make shopping lists, while only 16% set a budget for their shopping trips. Some people said that one of the best ways to budget is to plan out their meals ahead of time.
I go in with a plan. So I decide what my meals are and I buy what I need. My biggest problem is going in hungry. Then I buy what I don't need. We like to plan. We know what we need, how much we need. I try and do that. My only confinement would be I do try and find what's on sale and work within that.
The study also said that 54% of those surveyed chose a store based on the deals and savings. One student says that the temptation to eat out can ruin your budget.
Just living alone at first, like, it was a little hard to budget up my money. I was trying to eat more protein and stuff and, like, cut out the fast food, but I found that I was like in that cycle of I could just order and it'll come to my door and all that stuff.
There are many apps available that can help with meal planning and saving money.
I do use Flip, especially if you shop at Walmart. Like I shop at Walmart, so Flip price matches wherever you find products cheaper at other stores. So that's what I currently use. And also your flyers, because the majority of people tend to put their flyers in recycle or garbage. It's really good if you look at your flyers because in the back it normally has coupons.
About 70% of Canadians said they became more price conscious in the last 12 months due to the rising cost of food. Another student says that after paying for her rent, there isn't much left over.
For me who has a job, most of the time I found out that once I pay my rent at the end of the month and I have food, that's it. It's gone, totally gone.
Even with the rising prices, there are many ways to make sure you have food on your table, so students never have to choose between their education and food security. Caitlin Patrick, Humber News.
Your cell phone may tell you more about you than you thought. A new study out of California says molecules on your phone can show you all types of things you might not expect. Natalie Dixon has the story.
Researchers at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine sampled molecules on cell phones. They were able to provide lifestyle sketches for each phone owner. This included diet, preferred hygiene products, their health status, and even recent places they visited. Their findings were published by Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Moreover, they were able to tell specificities of a person. Things like whether a person preferred beer over wine, what cosmetics they use, if they've dyed their hair or were bald, and if they spend a lot of time outside. Other things they were able to determine were whether they liked spicy food, wore sunscreen or bug spray, and even what gender they are. Students here weren't too shocked about these findings.
Two-sided. It could be great, easier for investigators to find out information. But on the flip side, you can be possibly incriminating yourself and not even knowing it.
I think with new technology like iPhones and stuff, it has so much information on it that we probably don't even know of that, police or anybody else can find out.
I don't know, it just sounds really weird. It makes you think about how much information they can get from you without really doing much.
The researchers have already expanded their study. There are more people and they're testing more personal objects like wallets and phones. Natalie Dixon, Humber News.
Here at North Campus, hundreds of students, staff, and local leadership are celebrating Indigenous heritage in sport. Humber is hosting a Join the Movement kickoff event in the Student Center. The event is celebrating Indigenous sport, culture, and community. The 2017 North American Indigenous Games Host Society set up information booths and games with help from students in the sports management program. Culinary students let guests sample traditional Indigenous food. All money raised during the event will go towards the Right to Play Aboriginal program. The discovery of a lost sketchbook by famed artist Vincent van Gogh is generating a heated controversy. A book of reproductions of the sketches was published yesterday, but now the Vincent van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam is calling them fakes. The sketchbook was discovered by a professor from the University of Toronto working in France in 2011. She is a globally recognized expert on Van Gogh, and she says she knew right away they were authentic. But Van Gogh Museum says its experts determined the sketches were forgeries. The editor of the new book of the sketches says he'll be issuing a rebuttal of the museum's claims this afternoon. You might say this country is going to the birds. The Royal Canadian Geographic Society will be announcing its choice for Canada's national bird tonight. The 5 contenders are Ontario's provincial bird, the common loon, Quebec's provincial bird, the snowy owl, the grey jay that seeks out colder weather, the Canada goose that prefers rivers and fresh waters, and the black-caped chickadee, the provincial bird of New Brunswick. The Geographic Society wanted to designate a national bird in time for Canada's 150th birthday next year. When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Leah Richardson will have your 3-day forecast.
It's a high of 14 right now. There's some drizzling going on, so be sure to have your umbrella handy. I'll have more with your 3-day weather forecast after the break.
But for now, we leave you with this, a blended family like you've never seen. This baby monkey has been clinging to a herd of goats for days. The goats live on a farm, and the farmers say they found the little guy about 5 days ago. Even when the goats forage during the day and sleep at night, the monkey keeps a firm grip. Wildlife authorities say they'll protect the monkey. They're planning to send him to the city zoo and later release him into the wild.